Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Well, we're going to unbox a new product today here at my workbench, and I'm going to install it on my tractor. But to give you a little background, one of the maddening problems with modern tractors is lighting. Now, if you're fortunate enough to own a cab tractor, you've got all kinds of lighting. Most cab tractors have got lights up high on the top of the cab moving forward, and lights on the back that you can turn on going backward. So if you need light, if you're working, this time of year, and as I record this and post it, it's tail end of October, start of November, it gets dark early. So you need extra lighting to see with. But if you've got a non-cab tractor, the tractor manufacturers have made the worst design ever. And it's great for me because I sell a solution to it on my website, but it's terrible for the owner of a non-cab tractor. It's like they think we never take a tractor without a cab and run it after dark, and I do all the time this time of year. And the problem is you've got the lights in the grill of the tractor. And on small tractors like 90, I don't know, 95, 98% of small tractors are sold with front end loaders. And so if you've got a front end loader and you've got the bucket on it, or even if you don't, the light shines right into the front end loader. And about the only thing you can do to solve that problem is raise your front end loader way up in the air. And I go under low limbs all the time. I don't want to have that loader up in the air. And so you're stuck with lights that shine back in your eyes as you're trying to see. And I hate it. I've actually had situations where I was working at dusk where I turned on my tractor lights and they shone right into the loader bucket, and I've turned them off and been able to see better without the lights and with the glare from the loader bucket coming back in my eyes. Well, I was on the hunt for a solution to that problem. And a lot of people have designed their own and pieced together their own lights for a tractor to mount somewhere other than in the front grill. And so I was looking for a company that could make for me, for you, for tractor owners, a product that would go on a tractor, real easy installation, and give you illumination. And a few years ago, I found a company in Ohio that specializes in magnet lights. And what they're for and what their main business is these tow trucks that go out and recover cars, they have to put clearance lights on them, and so they have magnets with lights mounted on them and wires to go back with switches to go back to the truck on these tow trucks. So they'll be illuminated when they're going down the road. And that's their core business, a company in Ohio. And I went to them when I saw what they did and said, how hard would it be to design a light with a magnet or a couple of magnets on it to go on the roll bar of a tractor? And they said that'd be no problem at all. So they designed for me the RBI tractor light. And RBI stands for roll bar illumination. And what it is, and I've had it on the market for several years, is a light with two strong magnets on the bottom of it that you just take out of the box and put on your roll bar. And then it's got a wire all pre-installed that runs to a weatherproof switch with a magnet on it, and it goes on the side of the roll bar. And then the hardest part of the installation is taking the wire and running it around the belly of the tractor up to the battery. And then once it's installed, which takes maybe 30 minutes, and like I said, the most problem is getting that wire tucked in the tractor, you've got light on the roll bar where you can use it. And it's wonderful. And I've sold a bunch of them. We've had a lot of great comments from people that thank me for coming up with that product. Well, this product here, and we're going to install it on my tractor today, takes it to the next level. And the next level, several of you have requested, we need light to the back as well, because the RVI tractor light, literally, it's so easy. You can pry it off the roll bar with the magnets if you need to look behind you and turn it around and put it on and see what's going on behind you, but you lose your front lighting then. This product is going to give you lights forward and lights backward, controlled with two switches in one box. So let's open it up today and I'll show you what it is, and we're going to install it on my tractor, and I'm going to take my RBI tractor light off my tractor and put it on my zero turn. So I've got lights for every situation. Let's open this up. Okay, so here's what you get. We've actually looked for a light that had lights on the front and the back, and I don't think anybody in the world makes it. So what we did is we mounted two RBI tractor lights together with really, really strong magnets on the bottom of them. And you see there's a bracket there, and these can be tilted. Like you can tilt that down so you can tilt it toward your roll bar if you're trying to hook up late at night. But you've got heavier magnets than the original did. Now, in order for this to work, if you've got a really thin, like a 2-inch roll bar, I'm not sure how well that's going to stick on. If it were me, I'd put it on and then I'd put a zip tie around here just to make sure it stayed. But if you've got a wide roll bar, I think these are 100-pound magnets. They're either like 90 or 100-pound magnets. And that probably weighs, oh, I'm going to guess it weighs around 10 or 12 pounds. It's got some weight to it. These are really, really good lights. And there's a combination of both spot and floodlights in here to give you maximum illumination. But those magnets are going to hold that up. And then from there, it goes to a box, and that's got a smaller magnet on it. It's like a 65-pound magnet. And you've got two switches. You got one for forward and one for reverse. And then your wire that goes to the battery. Now, this has a fuse in it right here. So you've got plenty of wire to get to the front of the tractor. And this is a little different. The black wire is actually the positive, and the white wire is the negative. And I'm not exactly sure why they don't have a red wire for positive and a black wire for negative. But if you hook it up wrong, it won't work. But if you hook it up with the black wire to your positive cable and the white wire to your negative cable, you all of a sudden be able to light up your universe with these two lights. Let's go install it. So I'm going to show you today how to install the RBI tractor light on your tractor. And it's really simple, but there's one thing I would recommend you do before you put it on. I've got it on the side of my loader arms right now. I've got the box right here, and I've got it wired into my battery. And there's a reason for that. I want to test it. The hardest part of this whole process is snaking the wire under your, probably if you've got a mat on your floorboard, and then under the tractor, and zip tying it into other wires so it's protected. So these lights go out. We almost never have an issue with them not working, but once in a while we'll have one that doesn't work when it gets to the customer. And the only one I can remember was damaged in shipping. So I mean, it's not like we've got a problem. But before you go to all that work of putting that wire under the tractor and you get all greasy, let's test it out to make sure it works. And it's real easy to do. Hook up the two wires to the battery. And again, the black goes to the positive and the white goes to the negative. Put your switch on the side of the loader, put the light on the side of the loader, and just flip the switches. And if you've got a dual, you've got two switches, and you can see this light's on. If you got a single, you'll just have one, and you can see, hopefully you see that light's on. So I know it works. So now I can proceed with installation. So I removed my wire from my battery, and I've taken the zip tie off so the wire uncoils. And I want my wire to be, if I have any extra, and I will have because this is a long wire, I want it at the back of the tractor. And the reason for that is if I'm out and I've got an emergency situation and I need the tractor and I need the light somewhere other than the tractor going forward or back, I can take my magnet down and uncoil my extra wire and take it to a job. In other words, if I'm working on a truck or something else, I can use my tractor as remote lighting. So I want my extra wire at this end instead of at the front of the tractor. So the installation is real easy. The lights and the box are the easiest part of the whole situation. I just decide where I want my light, get it centered, and it's on. And you want it on the flat part of the roll bar. Now, if you're like me, and my roll bar is narrower than the magnets, I'm probably going to run a zip tie or maybe some twine around the magnets here up over the roll bar just in case it vibrates off. You know, there's so much vibration on a tractor that can happen, just as an emergency. Then my switch, I'm left-handed, so I'm going to put it on the left side right there. And now I've got to run this cord under the tractor. And I'm not going to video all of that, but I'll show it to you when we're done. There's the finished product. You see I've got the black wire on the positive terminal and the white wire on the negative. Kind of got it hidden. There's my fuse right there. I've got it zip tied. It goes under the battery. Okay, there's where it comes out under the battery. It's just barely missing this one hydraulic line here. I don't think that gets that hot. And then comes back up above the tractor. I've got it zip tied to a hose clamp away from the hot hydraulic lines. I've tried to keep it away from limbs when I'm bush hogging and hydraulic lines or anything that might be hot. Then it comes back here. It's zip tied to a fuel injector line. Comes out over here. It's zip tied to another wire that controls my diverter valve. Then it goes under the operator area, comes out the other side right there, and then feeds under the tractor. It goes under that ledge right there, which is your foot platform. It's actually right up in there, tucked on top of that ledge. There's a little ledge there you can tuck it to. And then it feeds under another wire to keep it stable, and then goes up with that other wire and comes out up on top, and it's zip tied there. Well, it comes out in that hole right there. This is it right here. And then comes up, and that's my last zip tie right there. Now, like I said, I've got a bunch of wire left over, and I'm gonna coil that up and put a little twisty tie on it. But the nice thing about that, again, if you needed to do something remote, you could take that down and take that down, and like if I was working on a flat tire on a truck, I could drive my tractor up to it. And as you can see, I'm quite a ways away, and then I'd have light forward and back. And I could like stick that on the side of my truck and change the tire and aim it whichever way I wanted to, aim it both directions. And so it gives me not only a light for the tractor, but a mobile light. Well, here's a finished product. There's a battery. I smeared some grease on top of both terminals to keep a garden from growing there. So that's done. And then there's the light. And you'll notice I've got my switch mounted on my tractor caddy. If you don't have a tractor caddy, check it out. It's on my website. But this should be the front light right here. Oh man, it's blinding. And there's the back light right there. And we'll go test it after dark here, as soon as it gets dark. Well, I'm in pretty much complete darkness. There's a little glow from the cell phone, but that's about it. But I'm going to show you what the lights do. Here's the front light. And here's the back light. Now I will say this, on a spring light night like this, the light does attract a ton of bugs. So I don't know how much this will show up, but it's a big change from just your front-facing grill lights. And the light in the back illuminates everything back here. You can see how well that does. If you're bush hogging or something, it's nice to have both lights. Now there is a blind spot right here, right out to the side of the tractor, but otherwise you can kind of see the field of vision there that you have with the RBI tractor light and the one behind you. Night and day difference, no pun intended. I appreciate you watching my videos. I would be honored if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking the mic face icon And make sure you check the bell so you're notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store where you can find the RBI tractor light and lots of other cool tractor accessories. And here's another couple of videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.